All right, we live. Oh, hey, all right. Hey, guys, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? It's Intelligent Psycho here, and so I'm gonna be talking about two new records from the Clipse, with Pharrell, Pusha T, and Malice. And the first record I'm gonna be talking about, is the track called "So Be It." It's got some lyrics that Pusha T and a hook that Pusha T refers to, but before we'll get to that, I'm gonna just break down some standout moments from this song, which the beat is entirely produced by Pharrell, and this album, Let God Sort Them Out, is entirely produced by Pharrell. So I'm gonna just break down some lyrics here in between. But yeah, my overall thoughts of the song, because I already had heard in spare time and passing, and I really enjoyed the record, man. I really enjoyed the record overall. I thought it was a really outstanding part of the verses. But first, we're gonna kind of start off a little bit with Pusha T, where he says, "I be Bentley driven and very strategic. RM sleeve, no diamonds are needed. Floors are heated, so be it, so be it. And effing with P, so be it, so be it. Effing with P, I get something immediate. Your soul though soul don't like your body. We help you free it." Now this part, I'm gonna just kind of go. I kind of just took it like, I kind of took that as a way of Pusha T airing out some grievances he has with a lot of past few artists, a lot of past of particular artists, celebrities that it has something to say about, I guess, himself and Pharrell. I kind of just took it currently in that regard. But what happened, what I heard and from kind of what I saw is reading this description for what Genius is saying. So the death could be currently the open leak behind closed doors. So Pusha waits for gossip like TMZ to obtain and release the footage like they have on a number of incidents. Of course, going back to the elevator video of Solange assaulting Jay-Z in 2014. So that's kind of in references and indulgence in Pusha T and Pharrell. Mainly, he says in that line referring to him and Pharrell as themselves in the third and fourth person. And so that's kind of like how I took it from there. But the reason why I like that line and I like the delivery and also the music video behind it and the way Pusha was delivering it, you can hear the tenaciousness, the veracity, the veracity, and just the overall angushness in just the verse alone. It just really has so much going along with it. Like, you can hear that he just provokes and wants to get things off of his chest. He's provoking emotion, he's provoking thoughts, he's provoking everything around that really gets home, that really hits home for me. And that part of the verse I really, really like. It just really, really hits it. It really, really hits the right notes, man. And that just goes to show me that that Pusha was just caring and concentrated. And also, it was a metaphorical death causing souls of the ops were liberated from their bodies. Like, Pusha T has been having a lot of issues with from people in the past. So, you know, mainly from Young Money, Cash Money, mainly Lil Wayne and Birdman, and also because of the whole usage of the clothing brand. I think it was called Bape at the time, and they was assuming that Wayne basically kind of took and stole their lingo, even though they never really used the term Bape. It's from what Pusha T said in an interview prior. They never really used the term, but I guess from back then when he made the Exodus 23 song, he kind of assumed that Wayne and Birdman were just down talking and downplaying them at one point in time. So when he says these lines, the soul don't like your body, so we help you free, it's kind of like, you know, putting all of the disagreements and desecrations of the ops per se. And it also could be referring to as well what happened with, you know, his former beef and former confrontation between Lil Wayne's and Birdman's label companion mate, Drake, and their old beef after what he had dropped on Daytona was the track Infrared, and Drake responded with W Freestyle, and, you know, mentioning his wife's name, and kind of just really antagonized and prophesized, you know, him to make that track. So that's kind of like what I took it in a sense of just soul deliberately from the ops. So I really do like that line from him, and that really just gave me so much room to really hear it. Also, I love the lines in here. Then twirling your like she in spaghetti heavy, circle back and come back to get this Kelly, and your ears too. You really want a blue like belly. Now I think this is probably, of course, of course that's gonna be referring to the movie Belly with Nas and DMX. I really love that line. But then also I really love the lines. Laura Jetlin Prada betting 911s. I'm the one who's with that Papa Heaven. Now that could be. Hold on a minute. Now, I kind of took that as like Prada bags, like what, people normally take when you're like when you're going to like fashion shows and like different like runway shows and like runway captions and stuff. I really do like that part in there. That really kind of just shows it. Oh, Halliburton is _go. What's going on? Yeah, I just kind of took that for face value. I also like the lines F around and get your body traced, trying to test me, cause niggas I'm with the like the draw when it's sketch. Buy a dog tag the same price as the beget me. And I also think that as a refer to him as like ice ski, like baguette's more like a jeweler, like a jeweler brand. I really do like that line and how he delivered it with that. And the dog tag, meaning, like actual dog tags, but baguette diamonds, you know what I mean? That was really dope. And J. Cole also used that line in another song as well. So I really do like the way he pushed in that line and really just effortlessly flow with it, man. So, kind of my thoughts on there. But also, let me get to the real highlight of the song, and that is his brother No Malice. Now, a lot of people are gonna also say, and of course, I've always believed that Malice was the better like rapper of the two, because Malice to me has more of a falsetto, was more no false. Pusha T's really known to make dope and coke bars and coke metaphors, but Malice is always the one that's tackling like, and he also has a lot of no falsettos in his voice or anything. It's just mainly straightforward and straight to the point. And also is tackling a whole lot of spirituality. I really like the fact he's tackling religious takes and spirituality. And that's kind of why he's been out of the game for such a long time, because he's been practicing a lot of, I heard practicing a lot of Arabic stuff. Because he said the lines, of course, you can't because you wrap your hand around it because you ain't Arab. And of course, he's Arabic, kafia, scarf. Like that's a really dope way of putting it. And he said, y'all tweet bird talk, we all parrots. Lone Star across the border like we Dallas. So basically, Twitter feed, like the old Twitter feed caption, bird talk, we all parrots, like people talking online, people talking on social media, like we're all like parroting each other, mirroring each other's thoughts and points without actually articulating ourselves well. I think that's what he meant by that line, and I really loved the way how he phrased it. Lone Star across the border like we Dallas. 21 gun salute, we been savage. Now that is a referred across the border. Of course, we like Dallas. I took it as the fact of what happened during the time of that Dallas shooting in 2016. I think that's kind of what I thought was what he referred to as well. And then of course, what's going on with the border cross? What's going on with the whole Mexican border cross line, Mexican border. That could be a way of how it could be interpreted. I also really like the other lines. 21 gun salute, we been savage, referring to 21 Savage, but also saying that we also have been savage, as a group with the Clipse throughout all the years. Will be releasing of us releasing projects going back to 2003's album Lord Willing, and from what they did with Hell Have No Fury and on forward, and going back to the song Grinding. So that's pretty much what he kind of made that whole soliloquy about them as a group, and also referring to 21 Savage. I thought that was a really dope double entendre and scheme. Tag them up, add them up, them niggas average. Fly 'em in, fly 'em out. only the baddest. If I had her, then you had her, she never mattered. That was the hardest line throughout the whole song. Like, throughout the whole song. Because really, fly 'em in, fly 'em out, only the baddest. So basically, he's talking about women that fly in and out and across the country. And also clubbing. You know, women who are like call girls and clubbing. And then he said, if I had her, then you had her, she never mattered. It's referring to a lot of gold digging women that go around and pass themselves around, you know, to other guys. So he basically flips that and just flips it so hard to the point where it makes it more like another scheme and another double entendre. Because, like I said before, you fly them in, you fly them out. Only the baddest. Women coming in and out of the country. And then, of course, like when they coming in and they try to meet other guys, like, and they try to pass themselves around, sell sex. And they made them, it makes it seem like, you know, she's more gold digging, more like tricking. I really do love the way he flipped that. That was a really good, again, a really good scheme and a really good flip on words, play on words. Wish upon the stars on my roof, they all scattered. And ain't no more Neptune, so peace Saturn. Of course, that's referring to ain't no more Neptunes, like the Neptunes group, and also ain't no more Neptune, so peace Saturn. So, you know, I think that's talking about also orbiting as well. That's a really good scheme, and also referring to Pharrell. You know how his personality is, and of course, wish upon the stars on my roof, they all scattered. That was a really dope way of putting it together. Let me see if I missed something, because there was a line where he was. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, tag him up and add him up. The niggas average. Basically, he was referring to, of course, you tag them up. You put all your best MCs, your 10 best MCs, or you put all 10 of your best artists together. They if you put them all together, you put them all these rappers together, and they all add up together. Who is dope? Who's the nicest? Who's the best spitter? They all are not. They all are average. All of them together added up, they all equal just average score, like an average score on a test. Like, that was a dope way of scheming it again. Because Malice, what he really does is he knows how to scheme. He knows how to put punchlines together, and metaphors that really puts it all in full circle. And then the last line, like middlemen, they killing them. You know what happened. Of course, he's just going to the end, just saying, of course, you got a lot of these dudes that work for people inside the government, work for people inside of like business practices, but they not really running or owning their own things and owning their own show. That really kind of just goes to show you that they're middlemen, that they're middlemen up under somebody, that they not really adding up on their own. So again, that really is really good bars, really good punchlines from Malice, and of course, really good lines from Pusha T, referring to certain things. Now let's talk about the big controversy of the hook, or the last verse per se. You cried in front of me, you died in front of me. Calabasas took your pride in front of me. Her utopia had moved and right up the street, and her lip gloss was popping. She ain't need you to eat. They gonna need to call the way they see it. But I got the video, I can share and IE it. They won't believe it, but I can't unsee it. Like I ain't TMZ it. So be it, so be it. Okay, so let me go into detail on this. So you cried in front of me, you died in front of me. Now, there has been an interview that I just recently saw where Pusha T specifically refers to this verse, and I cannot remember who that interviewer was off the top of my head. And then, of course, he was he was on Noriega's Drink Champs, and he spoke about the whole Drake thing and the whole Lil Wayne and Birdman thing. But anyways, this fourth verse is referring to Travis Scott, and Travis Scott had his Utopia briefcase, and he was in Paris where Pusha and Malice was recording this album, Let God Sort Him Out, in one of the sessions. However, when he was recording Utopia at the time, he had recorded the song Meltdown. Meltdown was, of course, the Drake verse that notoriously had referred to a lot of things and referred to jewelry and referred to Pharrell and referred to, of course, him thinking that he was going to snatch the chain off of, Pharrell, unironically and intentionally. And so Push got mad at Travis Scott for that line, and he completely just messed up the whole entire session. While in the process of them recording, he was just ruining the whole vibe. Just like, didn't give him the time of the day. And then by the thing he gave him the time of the day, he kind of like made some corny jokes, some corny one-liners referring to Pharrell, and also just the overall approach. He kind of just made it out to made them out to be something that they wasn't. And also he was also talking about the whole thing where him was dating Kylie Jenner for the past 7-8 months, I believe, and they of course what happened during that whole concert, and I'll just read this. He says Travis Scott's represents Utopia. Travis Scott's fourth studio album is a monotonous representing Travis. Then he alludes to a woman with lip gloss venture performing were not enough to need Travis money to live or eat. This is likely a reference, of course, I just talked about Kylie Jenner, and of course the whole cosmetic makeup brand value of approximately $1.2 billion. And earlier, Pusha recalls a moment of vulnerability between him and Travis Scott, where Travis broke down, revealing his disdain for high society lifestyle of Calabasas, California, particularly around figures such as the Kardashian-Jenner family. He associated with them through his relationship with Kylie Jenner, whom which he shares a child. And of course, Pusha T revealed his diss toward Travis stemmed from a sense of disloyalty when he recalls when Travis originally previewed Meltdown for him and Pharrell without Drake's verse, then only for the release version a week later to include the unheard Drake verse dissing him. So yeah, also referred to the verse Meltdown where it didn't have Drake's verse at all in the song. Yeah, originally the song didn't have Drake at all on it, but then a week later or so, out of non-conscientious and non-affirmative action, no kind of letting anybody know of the song being recorded and his verse being recorded and then releasing it a week later, no constant backing or information. He just did it out of spite. Travis Scott just released the song on his album out of spite in order for it to cause controversy. So that's what Pusha T was mad about overall in that particular record. And it made it out to be that Pusha was just trying to hate on Travis. No, you let these guys see and hear the verse that Drake had dissing them, but unironically speaking, you didn't even let them know that this was going to even happen. You just played the song without anybody let you know that who was all going to be on it. It was just completely inopportune and selfishly in a way where it kind of boosted your own and Drake's ego and kind of hurt, the Clipse and Pharrell's overall pride. And so that's what Pusha T was pretty much mad about overall at the end of the day. And I don't blame Pusha for feeling this kind of way because, again, Travis does this to everybody. He does this to everybody. I mean, of course, the whole controversy surrounding his concert performance and how it was pretty much unsafe and uncomfortable and unsettling. And so it made it out to be like, oh, like, you just really simply don't care. So, yeah, that's just my thoughts about that last part of the verse and overall the part of the song. And I thought the song was really, really dope, just as much as Ace Trumpets was. And I cannot wait to see what's going to happen with this album. But before then, I want to talk about the elephant in the room. We already heard everything that's surrounding. You already know what's already been surrounding the whole campfire. Now, they had played this song. Hold on, let me get to it. God dang it, motherfucker. God damn it. Okay. So the thing I want to talk about is, all right. So the thing I want to talk about is the Clipse and the Kendrick Lamar leak surprise verse that just came out called Chains and Whips. Now, I want to talk about the whole controversy because Def Jam went up to people inside of Def Jam went to UMG, and I think Drake had some whereabouts about the whole Chains and Whips Kendrick Lamar verse. But I'll just read a few things on there where he says, of course, he's addressing the state of hip hop, where he says, "Let's be clear." He says, "Let's be clear. Hip hop died again. Half of my profits go to Rod Kim. How many Judases done let me down? But F it, the West is mine. We up right now." Of course, that may be a lot of people are kind of assuming, and also before in that first verse where he says, "I'm not with the kumbaya ish." That also could be a reference, as especially with this whole "how many Judases then let me down." I believe because Kendrick heard the J. Cole Port Antonio song, and once I believe he heard that Port Antonio song, and then of course everybody infamously knows J. Cole being online and on social media, and he apologized at the Dreamville Festival. I believe Kendrick have heard that song and saw the apology. That's why you heard on Whacked Out Murals where he said, "F apologies, I want to see y'all geeked up." I think this is also some things where Kendrick is trying to get off his chest, like, yeah, you guys didn't let me down. You let me down about what happened, me selecting and performing at the Super Bowl. You let me down. Of course, I think he's talking to Cole in this record where he says, you let me down by apologizing and then doubling down on it, pulling the plug. And then, of course, what you said in there, you wouldn't have lost the battle dog. You would have lost the bro. Like, I would have ganged a foe. I don't think Kendrick is with all the buddy and the kumbaya and everything. He's pretty much saying, forget all of you guys for not even aligning with what I wanted to do at this point. So I think that's where he kind of is just at odds and just really pissed off and really frustrated with the state of hip hop right now, with the state of rap music. And I would be too if I was Kendrick as well. Like, I love the verse, but I'll go into more detail. But that's just a little bit of a part of it. Hold on, let me get to it real quick. All right, hold on. Let me just get to it real quick. All right. So let's get to this part. Oh, wait, hold on. Of course, we all see beat the system with chains and whips. You run from the spirit of repossession. Too much enamel covers your necklace. I believe that's kind of a reference to like lower quality and higher quality metal part. Okay, so okay, here we go. Now, the Kendrick Lamar verse that infamously has been talked about so many times. He says, "I'm not a candidate to vibe with. I don't F with the kumbaya-ish. All that talent must be God sent. I sent your A back to the cosmics." That could be pretty much of course, I think the more all the talent and the God sent, I sent your ass back to the cosmos. I think he's, like I said, I believe he's pretty much talking about himself being the God MC, like the Messiah in hip hop. I think that's kind of what he was referring to. Then he said hip hop died again. Had my profits may go to Rod Kim. I already talked about these lines. And of course, everybody is talking about this line where he says, therapy, show me how to open up. It also show me that I don't give a F. He's talking about his therapeutic conversation. And of course, his album back in May, Mr. Moore and the Big Steppers, and the mental issues that caused him to go to therapy. That really was really dope. I really love the way he did that part in the verse. Also, where he says, gentlemen and gangsters connect, the agenda of mine. Move niggas up out of here. This is get gentrified. Heavy jeans like Ginger V's. I dropped the Pentagon. Now, I think this is talking about specifically the the U.S. Department headquarters, which also it says, I dropped your Pentagon's manufactured metaphor on one level that evokes the Pentagon, the headquarters of the U.S. Department of Defense, and global symbol of military strength and impenetrable defense. And he suggests the drop is to suggest that Kendrick has the power to destroy the fortified institutions, aligning himself with force capable, topping systems of control and dominance. And also, it's referring to the political structure, political system where we're at right now with the Trump administration. Also, I feel like those kind of lines as well, aligning, I guess, less going at the people who have not been calling out the Republican Party and the conservative outlets, the right-wing outlets who have now called out the Trump administration, and of course what happened in the 2024 election. So I think that kind of aligns itself with the whole I drop your Pentagon, I'll show up at the general level and tell them to give me mine. I think that's what he refers to as well. That's a really good message. So shout out to Kendrick for that. Also, where he says, niggas want the T on me. Well, here's the ginger root. I generate residual to get out my genitals. That also is kind of like Kendrick Lamar inconsequentially is referring to himself in the new generation as Gen Z. But he also is talking about collaborating on, it also is talking about flexing. He's also doing some flexing position and surgical precision, while at the same time like about beef and like instead of giving drama that they want, and that's raw, healing, and potentially hard to swallow. Ginger also refers to burning spice sugar, implying that in form he gives to potent, not performative. I also kind of felt like I seen this reference, and I kind of figured he was referring to like the ginger root, like referring to the ginger root of like just not just the tea and not just how you mix it and sharpen it and cleansing and to sharpen the herb. I also feel like he's talking to specific particular artists and generating residuals, like he's generating money, generating revenue, and generating, what's going on with the complete ownership of his masters. Then he also is talking about they said I couldn't reach Gen C, you effing kids. Let me see, getting to what the hell? Oh, come on. All right. Yeah, so that pretty much is what he's referring to there. You must be full of ginseng when it comes to the jinx. Yeah, and ain't genetics been synthetic, screaming my genius. A finger wave, they all fall in. Niggas is Jenga. Give me the light, a good year full of. So I think that's pretty much him referring to a lot of talks of him not thinking that he could collaborate and not thinking that he could link up with people inside the younger generation of artists. And that really goes to show you how much he cares and how much he wants to try to create and formulate, like he said in 2015, formulate the balance, not just in the hip-hop space, but in the generation space of just artists and musicians, because they look at Gen Z as just people who are just, people who don't want to listen, people who don't want to align with the whole way of technology and the way of thinking, the way of polygraph and carrying themselves up, carrying their weight up and carrying themselves a lifeline and everything. So I thought that was really a dope way of putting those bars together. So yeah, man, I don't see the controversy surrounding it like many folks believe it was. I just wanted to give you guys some input on it, and I really do believe that I think Def Jam. I really do believe that UMG and Drake pretty much kind of overlooked and really just analyzed this all wrong, and they constantly were just trying to find some ways to try to nitpick and be negative, because I feel like this is more like Kendrick having a State of the Union, State of the Culture, and State of the Industry address, rather than it being a diss in any capacity. And I love the fact that Kendrick, especially with the gin references, the gin metaphors, the gentleman, agenda, gentrify, Genovese, gender reveal, gimme mines, general, gin and juice, genesis, all of those ginger root, like all of those genitals, generate, like the whole gin referencing was absolutely sensational. And it goes to show you that he is just a master when it comes to just technicality and wordplay. It's like what Eminem used to do and Andre 3000 used to do as well with the technicality and the wordplay. He just completely masters it in so many dang ways. So I don't understand how people look at it when he collaborates with Playboy Cardi on Good Credit, and then acknowledges that, but then doesn't acknowledge the fact that he goes on these kind of verses on here and just goes off, and we don't get the kind of love and the credit. That just shows you his versatility, but they always want to give Drake the credit for versatility, but don't look at Kendrick's versatility. It's just ridiculous to me. But yeah, it's a really solid verse. Don't want to go on too long with it, but really good verse. And also the song, I haven't heard the song in its entirety. I'll break it down when it gets to the album, when the album comes out on July the 11th. I just want to talk about that real quick before I get off of here. Now I wanted to do another album. I want to do an album review real quick for you guys, and this is towards. Oh, okay. All right, hold on. I wanted to do an album review for Kali Uchis album called Sincerely. Now, initially, this was it's led by the single Sunshine and Rain, which was released on March the 27th, but the album release did not come out until May the 9th of this year. And man, hearing this album, inadvertently speaking, it gave me so many signs of just, and it really is a good follow-up to her 2022 album, Red Moon and Venus, which is pretty much described as an urban, contemporary, vibrant, more soulfully driven album. This is more urban, suburban, pop-driven record that really kind of goes to show her input on just love, lavishness, anguishness, and just an overall feeling of just her personality overall over the years. Like she's been speaking on radio. Like her main album, she always expresses her own personality, her inner feelings, turmoil, and just stuff that goes on in her life. But one thing about a few of my favorite records, I'll just talk about real quick. We're gonna start off with "Lose My Cool." She says on here, "I crossed my mind way more times than it should have. How insensitive I must seem. It was quite the opposite. Pull my hair back with barrette. See, I try to keep my cool because no one wants to act a fool, but..." So many commercials. Might be referring to another song, of course, from her own record, "Feel Like a Fool." So that was a really callback to her own song. I really do like the chorus though too, where she said, "You make me lose my cool, confused, I forgot the rules to play. So you forget the game, take your cool now, don't be ashamed. Excuse me. You make me lose my cool, it's true, so forget the rules, don't play, baby, lose the games. Protect your cool now. Don't be afraid. I want to keep the world away because you're so precious to me. I hate the world today. You will not be the death of me. Tell the kids that you want, they won't. They never care how it looks. I'm an old school romantic. Call me lazy if you want. Just kind of like I said before, she always refers to her personality, her charismatic appearance, and how she comes off to certain people. It really just refers to her own ideological input, man. Really kind of goes to show you where she's at in life, man. And I really do appreciate and love what she does. It really just kind of just puts it all in perspective. Uh, and really, my favorite line on this verse is the last part. Is yeah, you're calm. You're the calm throughout the storm. Now, I kind of refer to it. She referring to the song with Tyler, the Creator, after the storm. And yeah, that's what Genius and annotation interprets. Another favorite song of mine. Another one of my favorite songs on the album is oh wait a minute. Is the song called "It's Just Us." Kind of goes and starts off some you when you smile at me, something changed in my brain chemistry. Kicked out the house as a teen. I was on my own much as long as seen. Well, I wonder would see if I could walk away from me. How she pretty much at a young age, she always had family issues. She spoke about that earlier on in her career and how that kind of changed her life around. Money isn't the root or evil these days. It's attention. The things that drove me out of my mind turned meaningless. Had to learn to rearrange my mind and be in peace. Are the things we want in life are only deceiving us. What a time! What when time is a thief, I won't let it rob me. Cause like, she was always referring to time, you know just being out like running the streets and also you know deceptively like kind of like not letting time work against it per se. So that's what I refer to, and that's what I refer to here in that line. And I really enjoyed that and how she delivered it. It was really nice. Another song I really enjoyed is Territorial, and this is also produced by her. This album itself is also executively produced by her. Um, and also Nick Ferrero also produced this song Territorial. Um, Let me go to one of the lines that really stood out. See you, I look like an angel, walk like an angel. Sometimes I might even talk like an angel. But the danger is to me, I keep it graceful. To for el respeto, and will I get disrespectful too? Now, in this verse, you know, usually when artists kind of repeat themselves, there's always some kind of like interpreteds or a meaning. Um, but I kind of and I didn't really even know what that really meant. But she also refers to this 1968 Elvis song, "You're a Devil in Disguise." So those are the reference. That's the reference he pretty much said in there, and I thought that was a really good, really cool way of also interpretively talking about her own self indulgence, deprecance, and also just exposing her own like ego and everything, just revealing her own self, her own vulnerability. Um, Another one of the another really good song in mine also was the next track called "Fall Apart." The chorus kind of goes, "I don't need nobody that's chasing. things that they can replace when it's all said and done. Ooh, I know, you know I love you, how you chase me across constellations like shooting stars. I love that your love is so patient, and this is the love I've been waiting my whole life for. I love when we go through the phases, but what never changes is what is you by my side. That's a really, really strong and powerful chorus. And the bridge goes, yeah, you love me even when I get difficult, because you love me when I'm down and out. You love me when I'm not the prettiest, because you love me for my mind, my soul, and heart. You love me when I get difficult. You love me when I fall apart. You love me when I'm not the prettiest, because you love my soul and body and heart. Dope, dope song, and a really, really good message throughout the entire record. Another one of my favorite songs on here was track 11, Angels All Around Me. When life was dangerous, you covered me under your angel wings with a little patience. Who knew life could be so sugary sweet? I never knew. Certainly divine protection, keep us safe from all harm all along. He's merciful, it's true. Because every step I take, I know I'm not alone, not alone. The light covers me down to my bones. In verse 3, rejection was the highest protection. You pushed me to the right direction. You showed me that which wasn't true. And then you sent some from above. And I know it's what love is. And then my last favorite song on the album is track 13. This is also a 14 track album. I believe it's 49 minutes long. Really, really good runtime as well. In the first verse on here, on Sunshine and Rain, I do nothing in the dark because I believe in karma. When I forgive, my heart always give me trouble. God knows I played my part and always understands me, so I used to everyone misunderstanding. Wish I didn't let my emotions run away. They ran me. Aha, I gave you my heart to hold, and how I will end up empty-handed, riding through the storm, brought me so much needed clarity. Again, this is talking about just her own clarity and karma, and just overall her own misunderstanding and ways of dealing with men and relationships, and also family trauma, and just overall in life. It's throughout the whole record. She just exposes it and has her own indulgence and vulnerability just rippling throughout the whole album and throughout this song as well. Through sunshine and rain, as seasons change, we all need somebody that makes the earth feel heavenly. Maybe I'll be that somebody because you're that someone to me. Though sunshine and rain as the seasons change, we all need somebody that makes the earth feel heavenly. Maybe I'll be somebody because you're that someone to me. So really, really good song, and that's one of that's one of the last songs I'll talk about real quick. This album, to me, by Uchis, really is a self-deprecating and indulgent and very, very heartfelt, emotionally driven record that composes and exposes so much about her own trauma, family trauma. You know, she also talks about at one point in time getting kicked out of the house and kind of learning, on her own as a teen, showing how she's improved and how she's pretty much gained so much knowledge and experience, and also making music and recording, and all these different things. And at the same time, learning from her past mistakes, learning how much she became argumentative, but then learning how to overcome her own ways of just maneuvering through life and through passages. So yeah, really, really good album. Shout out to Uchis, and again, I can't wait to get the vinyl copy of the record, man. It's really gonna be something for me to really listen to all the time. Definitely one of my top favorite albums of the year. I'd highly recommend it so much to a lot of the fans who really like that alternative, slow down R&B. You really, really will get in tune with it. So yeah, that's my review, and that's just my overall take. And I'm gonna get on out of here, you guys. thank you for watching. Thank you for hearing me break down. Of course, earlier on with the Clipse, and of course this album. Thank you guys for watching. I meant to talk about the WNBA, but I'll talk about that probably later on when I come back. So yeah, as I edit this video, I'll take that out. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm out of here. Appreciate y'all. I'm gonna go and take me a little bath. I'll go in and get ready to go into work. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time, and talk to you in the next one.